Welcome to Carl DeGregorio's Desk Session 52. 52 is an even number, but it is an oddly celebratory number because maybe you celebrate 25, 50, 75, 100, but when you are talking about once a week for a year, you're talking 52 weeks. I only know that because I used to get Sports Illustrated and it was a weekly. And I think he got 70 because sometimes they'd throw bonus issues or they'd send 2 at a time or some shit. I don't remember. But the point is, I'm going to try something different today. I am going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate probably the least exposed thing that I've endeavored to do because I never took the pleasure in other milestones and other achievements and other things that were really damn cool because of some kind of hollowed out feeling that it wasn't good enough anyway. So let me just tamp down my celebration or my hopes and dreams and things like that. And I'm not doing that with this or with anything really for that matter. And I will I'm going to do something very corny, and I don't give a shit. Hold on. I am going to wish the desk session a happy birthday. It's a happy birthday for 1 year of doing this desk session. So we're at 52. We're celebrating 1 year. I had some spare candles somehow, but no cupcake because I'm kind of trying to get off the sugar. So I got this thing stuffed into a hamburger bun, which is probably, because it's a simple carbohydrate and it's white flour, it's probably worse than a cupcake or whatever the fuck people say. But I've been trying to lay off the sweets because I think that's where I'm getting caught up, is I just power down sweets. But the long, boring short of it is I am celebrating this 1 year of birthing something and sticking with it for a year. And I will celebrate. I don't know how you celebrate a birthday for a one-man show. I guess you just celebrate opening night, but that's what this all started as. And now, we still got some work to do there. But again, showing up every day, every week, once a week for 52, I intend to keep it up. But at least I know I did it. And any inconsistencies of schedule will be, again, it's up to me as the administrator of this page, channel, etc. I can choose to do what I got to do. And what I did do is at least prove to myself something that I probably didn't need to prove. And I'll tell you a story, but I am getting paranoid about the melting and the bun and the thing. So happy birthday to anyone who's sat through some of these. Thank you. Happy birthday to the desk session. Happy birthday, Carl DeGregorio Desk Session, the channel. The rebrand, the restart, the redo, the whatever, the reawakening, the fact that I am making a way somehow, some way. And I'm going to take this win. Sorry, but I'm taking it because so many times there were even bigger wins than this. I understand. And I know that the trolling sensibility that is creeping into my mind right now that is equivocating this, which is what I know from therapy I shouldn't do. But the trolling nature of the world is that it's, a small channel. So what? Anybody else sat down 52 times to do something, concerted effort to place it out there, put it out there, do their thing? Sure, but not as many as you would think. And so I am taking this win. I don't know why the hell I'm shouting at you people. I'm just kind of trying to fake it till I make it with the enthusiasm and for the pat on the back that you don't want to give yourself too many of, but once in a while you gotta say I did all right. And so today on the 52nd desk session, I am celebrating with a birthday candle, and we are moving forward. And I'll get into the session and what I wanted to talk about, but it's really talking about this, that this candle, this birthday candle in a hot dog bun, a hamburger bun, symbolizes me giving a shit about what I do, about myself, about other people, about the people in my life, about my art, about the things that meant so much to me for so long that I've held on and held out and stuck in and stuck it out for so long that I'm going to celebrate this year of redefining what that success means to me, what the past successes have meant, and what future successes will look like. So I am taking, I guess, a victory lap, to quote or to bite from Nipsey Hussle, one of the best hip hop names of all time. Nipsey Hussle. He was an entrepreneur, rapper, and he did what he could for his community, and he died tragically. But the point is, he took a victory lap, was his last album, because he felt like he made it. And while the Death Session, with its few subscribers and few views, it's a win, because I showed up for myself. And if you can't build on something that doesn't have a strong foundation. So if this thing turns into something else, at least the foundation was a year of laying concrete, of figuring out what worked and what didn't work. A lot didn't work. I'm aware of that. But I also know that showing up is a big percentage of it. And I show up, and I need to remember that. And I would encourage you to understand that again, you're not going to be making money on some of this stuff for many years. But let's figure, I can't do the math that quick, but if I averaged a half-hour session, 52, that's a lot of hours of content, and sitting down and doing what I got to do. And they say that you got to just sit in the chair when you're talking about writing, things like that. I've always been able to crank pages as a writer, but I was less able to put things out into the world via this modern marvel of digitized media. I was always worried about it, and now I just put it out there. Good, bad, or indifferent, hamburger bun with a candle in it or not. Happy birthday to my channel, The Death Sessions, Carl DeGregorio, 52. We made it. We fucking made it. I made it. And we are rebranding our feelings, not our rebranding of ourselves, but I'm rebranding how I feel about things. And I'm trying to really kind of flip the script on old modalities or old ruts, and they rear their heads, and you have to fight them down. And that's why I lit a candle for this show. And now I will close my eyes and make that wish, keep it to myself, but I'm making that wish, and I'm blowing out a candle, and I'm celebrating today. And I thank you for celebrating with me if you made it this far. And I don't want the candle to light this, I don't know what percentage of edible or flammable substances in this hamburger bun. I know it's a hamburger bun, but a hot dog bun is just a little easier to say. Anyway, happy birthday, Death Sessions, Carl DeGregorio, 52 episodes, and here we go. All right. In thinking about it, I know a lot of people are, the story that came to mind was about wondering or realizing or thinking if I had the sort of makeup, the discipline to do the thing that I'm doing and have been doing over the years, and where did I develop it? And I give a lot of credit to a few things that happened in the theater, that the theater kind of woke me up to the idea that discipline was a good thing. I remember I did a summer at Oberlin College. I was the youngest student at Oberlin Theater Institute. I had some friends from New Jersey who were at NYU and other places, and they got summer jobs, they were acting in Shakespeare, and they were also teaching classes during the day. And it was a way for them to, put something on their resume and make some money in the summer. And somehow they got me a scholarship to go to this thing that was really for like Oberlin students and anybody in the area. And it was college level, and I was still in high school. I think I was a sophomore. But I got to go, and it really blew my mind. And at the time, I hadn't learned a lot of the discipline that it would take to sit in a chair and read Shakespeare, sit in a chair and understand Shakespeare, things like that. I thought I was almost, reading comprehension issues, because I couldn't make heads or tails of Shakespeare, and we had to read The Tempest because that was the play that was being done. And that's one of the more approachable Shakespeare plays. It's his last play. It's the only one that's not a historical, based on historical events. So I couldn't make heads or tails of it. I was sitting in some lobby trying to fucking listen. I was like, does anybody else get this? I couldn't. I was a sophomore in high school. I was playing basketball. And that led me to have some sense of it, some pride in it. The sonnets are a great way to approach Shakespeare at first because they're just 30 lines or 32 lines. So you can, you can digest that language in shorter form, and they're easier to decipher than entire scenes and stuff. And that's kind of how they approached it. And it really opened me up, and it made me a pretentious terror in the high school hallways when I got back from that summer, all turned out and bit by the theater bug. But what ties into all this is I had a crush. I had a high school crush on a girl who lived on the same street as me, just a couple blocks down, and she was older than me, and I never really had the gumption or the confidence that somehow, I don't know, how do you broach that? And I just didn't do well, but I kind of was friendly with her, but not declaring myself, as a dude to court her, if you will. And I don't know how the conversation ever came up, or maybe it was years later and we were just sort of reminiscing, but she said to me that I remember you going to the park every day one summer, every day without fail. She was a tennis player. I was a basketball player. She said you went there every single day and worked on dribbling and shooting and your left hand, and you did it every day. And it jarred me because I don't remember that vividly, or I do remember going to the park to work on my game. I had hurt my knee, but I had bounced back, and I was playing on a traveling team in 8th grade, and I was 5'11", I think, in 8th grade, and it was looking pretty good for me as a freshman or going into high school, that people knew that I was coming. And so I really kind of took that summer to get in shape and to be ready for freshman ball. And she reminded me that you can make these middle-class suburban laments, or just that bullshit, like it's all complaining about like not having a big enough allowance. I mean, these aren't hardships whatsoever. We didn't have a hoop in my backyard, so what did I do? I went to the park, walking distance. It was actually a good hike. It was, I don't know, maybe it's a mile away. I don't know, more than a mile, something. Didn't matter when you're young. And I would dribble on the way, and then I'd dribble on the way back, and that would help me with my dribbling. And anyway, I just didn't remember it. I caught from her a bit of admiration. Maybe it was because I was solitary. I don't know how I'd ever wound. It was a park out of the way, so maybe it wasn't. I never picked where I really needed to probably pick up on my game was to play more pickup. But she just remembers seeing me there every day, and it was her kind of saying your discipline, your stick-to-itiveness, your arriving without fail was something she noticed. And I literally just thought about that today because of the 52. Getting to 52 and sort of celebrating the fact that all my life, whether I felt it or not, I guess I let the feelings of sedentary nature, or the feelings of inertia, or the feelings of not wanting to do things, maybe I did push through. I don't know. I'm sure we all had days on the couch. I'm sure we could all be more prolific, but I really blew out the candle and lit a candle, and I say happy birthday, and I'm pumped up about this, which could be like the least of my output, like I said, other than the fact that there is proof that I sat here 52 times without fail for a week with a broken, with a torn tibia tendon, with a death in my immediate family, my girlfriend's dad. I still managed to do the death session, which is, again, all self-driven and all self-motivated. And maybe that's been sort of part of my nature. Maybe it was my birth order and being kind of separate and alone in more of my adolescence, that I was pretty much looking for ways to be self-contained. I think that's why stand-up comedy appealed to me, because it's an individual sport, if you will. And you basically get in what you put in, and you get out what you get out, and you tend that garden, and you do your own writing, and you come up with new stuff or don't, and you're up there and you're standing in the circle. But where the theater really kind of ignited me was the communal aspect, the friend bonding, the feeling of family, the feeling of home, that as a solitary character that would spend every day in the summer dribbling a basketball, maybe that appeal was more of the social connectivity, and that the death session being 52 hours, I just know you get let down, or it is such a major, it's wrangling cats to get these projects off the ground. And while I think I have many things that are worthy to attempt to shoot and put together, the efforts are Herculean, and they have to be tempered with living a life and paying bills and things like that. The most prolific directors of all time hover around 10 to 20 films, because of how hard they are to make. And that's when they can snap a finger and have the same crew every time. We're going back to work. I know he's a terrible example for certain people as far as behind the scenes stuff, but Woody Allen used to do a movie every year, so he was really prolific. Quentin Tarantino is going to quit after 10, he says. And so all I'm saying is that's feature length. So, and I've been in I don't know how many short films with friends that haven't even cut them yet. They're not even off the hard drives yet. They haven't even looked at the footage yet. And we're going on years and years and years. And so my issues are always, it's not even so much what you do, it's that you have to finish. And so I did take forever to write my play in New York, but we produced it. And I did take forever to come up with a concept for a short that we did on YouTube, but we did it. And I did come up with a concept for like a promo video that was like an ad for my book, and then we did it. And they were all, what we wound up doing was boiling it down to it was like a one character kind of direct to camera thing, or fly on a wall kind of aspect of solo secret behavior and being alone. And that way I knew that I could finish these things because I didn't have to have anybody else come late, not show, have a conflict, have to reschedule. If we just had me, the guy we were shooting, my great friend Sam Boland, if it was just me and him figuring out a concept where it was just me, then we could pull it off. And it wasn't out of vanity. It was just out of, you don't know how, like I said, and I don't mean to bag on all these people, but like so many of these things never see the light of day, which is why almost any film is an act of will, and an accomplishment to be celebrated. So that's why it's, I've sort of fallen to I can say things suck and they're great, but I temper that because I know how hard this shit is to do. And even a bad film took multiple thousands of man hours. So I say this all to say, I have to change how I'm going about this next phase of my life for many reasons. Like I said, I've hit a bit of a snafu I saw some space this week, and I need to turn up the heat. I need to go to basketball. I need to go to the court every day when it comes to what is a thing to check off the list for this one-man show, because it can get away from you, and then you're the guy talking about it and not doing it, and that's the other issue. And that's the reason why I found it to be very incongruous, because in the world of theater, the sports analogies would fall flat because of the way athletes and actors are socialized in high school. And this is going back decades. So, and I wonder if it's different or not, but the sort of strata of the actor versus the athlete, they didn't, and there the twain shall meet is what would happen. I happen to have been the anomaly of being the actor and the athlete, even though eventually I had to bag it all and do just the acting because I wasn't a good enough athlete for them to let me skip practice, skip games for shows, and I had to reprioritize. But that made me a little bit of a weirdo to the theater people who thought that all jocks were abusive, toxic motherfuckers. And but some of those lessons of discipline, and I got into tennis for a while. I hit the ball at the same park against the wall. I was a late starter, so my tennis was not going to get to a level, but I really enjoyed it. And talk about something you could practice by yourself with a wall and a racket and a ball. These were all, very solitary pursuits, and so the desk session was easier for me to finish out 50 of these because it's just been me. And even with podcasts, I know friends who've had podcasts that it was 2 of them and a guest, and the idea of getting 3 people in the same GPS coordinate every week wound up being, more than they could handle. So they both fractured off, and they do, individual pods. So that's where the something has happened. I have leaned on the keyboard. The external keyboard is under my elbow right here. And I've pressed some fucking button where now the speakers of the laptop are now the monitor. So I am hearing myself coming out of my laptop as I talk to you, and it's really fucking annoying. And I can't pause and restart or figure this out. Anyway. So I'm hearing myself through and it's like a little behind, and you can't hear it yourself, or maybe it's an echoey thing and this whole fucking tape is ruined, but I'm not going to let it throw me, because this is 52 and it should have some technical issues, because that's stuff I endeavored and encountered along the way here. Bad shots. I started with the phone on a tripod. I tried to get my backdrop to be the blackboard I have in my apartment. I haven't found a way to streamline this. I haven't added media yet, and there's a lot I want to do as I improve, but I have to remember that this is a vlog or a channel or presentation of struggle, or not struggle because we're trying to change that word, but of endeavoring, of stick-to-itiveness, of showing up every day, going down to the park every day, and to remind myself that I have had and will, and I display discipline, and I'm going to light candles because I didn't take a lot of the blessings I've had. I felt maybe guilty about them, or I felt that they were mirages and that the shoe would drop. I was the lead in plays since high school. I got into the school I wanted to get into. I booked a commercial right after graduating college. I've done plays. I wrote a play. I wrote a book. I've done things. I did stand up. I kind of did everything I wanted to do, just in micro versions of what they are. And then because they weren't meeting expectation or impossible expectations, I didn't enjoy them. They weren't sufficient. And I don't know where that comes from. But to light a candle to celebrate the birthday of this 1 year of vlogging and making it consistent and finishing is really all that it deserves. All the goddamn praise I'm going to give it. Because if I could write a play, produce it in New York, and then be bummed out about it afterward because I had to go back to bartending, or if I could self-publish a book and then be mad because of the disclaimer of self-published rather than the verb published, and that it was past tense, not I'm working on a book or I'm working on a play. I finish. I'm a finisher and a closer, and I'm going to remember that. And so thank you. Hopefully this thing doesn't have a fucking miserable echo. I'm doing it again. Is it bad luck to relight to do this? A whole other candle, by the way. So as we fade out, thank you. We made it. 52 episodes, a year's worth of this stuff. I'm back on my 2 feet. I'm healed up. I'm looking for my next move. I light a candle and I ask you, if you're out there, to pray that good things happen for me, for you, for us. It's a give, not a take, was the biggest thing over the year. That your art, your efforts, the byproduct is they are helpful to other people. They connect. Even if they're solo efforts, they connect to the spirit of somebody who might have a like mind, even if it's one person. So, if that's not something to celebrate, I don't know what is. And a big theme of the return of Otis Redding, the one-man show, is not letting yourself down. And because that's the one that hurts the most. And so for this year, as far as this Desk Sessions channel is concerned, I didn't let myself down. And that's a happy birthday to me for that. So salud. Let's keep it going. I'll see you next fucking week, because we don't quit. All right. Peace.